Palestinian Islamic Jihad fired rockets from the Jabalia area targeting Sderot on May 14th. The Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine also launched rockets at Israeli forces near Kerem Shalom. Israeli forces have been engaging Palestinian fighters in multiple locations in the West Bank since May 13th. Demonstrations occurred on May 14th in Jenin, Ramallah, and Tulkarm to protest the treatment of Palestinians in Israeli prisons. Additionally, Israeli civilians set fire to 2 humanitarian aid trucks bound for Gaza at a checkpoint between Israel and the West Bank on May 13th. On May 14th, Israeli forces continued their re-clearing operation in Zaytown, southern Gaza City, where they located and destroyed military infrastructure, including rocket launchers and a weapons depot. Tanks from the IDF 679th Armor Brigade killed several Palestinian fighters approaching Israeli ground forces. The IDF issued evacuation orders for civilians west of Jabalia in northern Gaza. The IDF targeted a Hamas operations room in a UNRWA school in Nuseirat, central Gaza Strip, killing 15 Hamas fighters and 25 others. Airstrikes in the area killed a total of 40 people, highlighting the ongoing intensity of the conflict. The IDF 162nd Division continued operations in eastern Rafah near the border crossing with Egypt. The IDF Javadi Brigade located weapons, killed Palestinian fighters, and directed airstrikes in the area. Israeli forces are now operating in several neighborhoods west of Salah al-Din Road. Palestinian militias rigged tunnels to explode and attacked Israeli forces with small arms, improvised explosive devices, and mortars. U.S. officials believe Israel has amassed enough forces to conduct a full-scale military operation in Rafah. President Biden warned Israel about withholding arms shipments if a major operation proceeds. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan condemned the attack on the humanitarian aid convoy near Hebron, calling it utterly unacceptable. The aid trucks were set on fire by Israeli protesters, blocking the convoy on May 13th. The UN and U.S. raised concerns with the Israeli government. Turkish President Erdogan said on May 13th that over 1,000 Hamas members were being treated in hospitals across Turkey, but later clarified this as treating Gazans. Unspecified attackers fired at a UN vehicle in Rafah on May 13th, killing a UN employee and injuring another, further complicating humanitarian efforts. Israeli forces expanded clearing operations on May 14th into the Jabalia refugee camp, which the IDF had not previously entered. 2 IDF brigades advanced into the center encountering heavy resistance. Palestinian militias claimed 86 attacks per day targeting Israeli forces since May 11. This high rate of attacks is straining Israeli operations, but the IDF continues its efforts. Hamas is expected to rebuild its units in the Jabalia camp once the IDF withdraws, following their clear, leave, repeat strategy. This persistent cycle indicates the long-term nature of the conflict in Gaza. Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei greeted a Houthi delegation on May 13th, expressing support for their movement. Iranian media identified Araj Masjedi as the new IRGC Quds Force Coordination Deputy. Masjedi claimed Iran's enmity with Israel will not end until Israel is destroyed. He emphasized Iran's capacity to fight both Israel and the US, Iran, and India signed a 10-year contract to develop the Chabahar port, highlighting regional strategic interests. This agreement shows Iran's efforts to strengthen ties with India amid sanctions and geopolitical tensions. Iran-backed militias, including Lebanese Hezbollah, conducted at least 7 attacks into northern Israel. Hezbollah fired anti-tank missiles at Israeli military equipment near Abbot on May 14th, wounding several soldiers. Israeli demonstrators blocked roads in northern Israel to protest the government's failure to return displaced civilians. In Iraq, Iran-backed militias claimed an attack on Eilat using 2 Arfad drones on May, marking a significant escalation. This proxy warfare underscores the broader regional implications of the Israel-Hamas conflict, involving multiple state and non-state actors.